Hi, aloha. This is Bridie Jane from Heart of Heaven, Craniosacral and Subtle Field Energy Therapies. Have you ever woken up wondering, what is it going to take for me to feel like I am on track in my life? What is it going to take for me to get free of these patterns or emotions or ways of doing things in the world that just feel like they hold me back or bring me down? Have you ever wondered, why does this keep happening to me? Maybe you keep working for the same boss, dating the same people. At least it feels like they're the same because so many of the patterns, so many of the emotional places that you touch in those dynamics feel so similar. And it's like, gosh, why does this keep happening? I keep going through the same situation over and over again. Has that ever happened to you? It happens to a lot of us. And there's a reason for it that we are actually never taught. Many of us go through some of the same challenges over and over and over again, different face, different name, same dynamic. And we find ourselves, chasing after different forms of therapy. We're reading different self help books. Like, is there anything that's going to help me get free? Is there anything that's going to help make sense of some of these challenges that I've gone through? Some of them really pretty severe. One thing about trauma is it causes you to have to ask big questions, and it causes you to have to stay with a question, and you have to stay with it long enough to get an answer that is absolute and unwavering and unshakable. And you have to do that because there's no alternative, because you can't go back. There's nothing to go back to. All the bridges have been burned. And that usually comes when we've gone through a situation or a number of series of situations that are so traumatic that something inside of us is just not able to do things the way we've done them anymore. So we can't go into another situation that has the same dynamic because now the price is too high. The cost is too high. My heart actually can't do that anymore. As painful as that is, the gift in that is it causes us to have to ask profound questions. And it causes us to not only ask the question, because a lot of people say, well, what is the purpose of life? Or I don't feel like I'm doing what I'm really here to do. Or, why do I not feel joy? Or, what is my right work? Or what is my right relationship? Or what is a life about anyway? Or why does so many people suffer in this world? Or sometimes, why is life so hard? And many people have asked those questions. But if you've gone through extreme trauma or extreme traumatic events, profound and enduring and repeating, your need to ask those questions is not casual. It's not something where you can ask the question, wake up the next day, have a better day, and forget the question. That just isn't an option anymore. When you've gone through a lot of challenges, the answer to those questions become a matter of life and death. And you have to stay with the question until an answer comes out of the ether, because it's the only way you're going to make it through. And in my life, there have been so many times where it has been essential for me to understand the nature of existence, to understand the nature of life in a way that is unshakable, in a way that cannot be picked apart, in a way that cannot fail, because it's grounded in truth. And once you have stood your ground with these deep questions, once you have been relentless to have them answered, existence begins to reveal a deeper reality than we could ever possibly have dreamed. And it's hard won for many of us. But once you make that shift, once you knock and it shall be answered, right? Once you knock on that door of existence and say, I demand, command, require truth in a way that is unshaking, irrevocable, inarguable, in a way that every atom of my being knows is true. Not something I just, read some theory online or listen to some talk online or some therapy, some whatever. It's not to say that truth can't be expressed in many different ways. It is, of course. But most of the time, what we're doing there is we're gaining information, we're gaining insight, we're gaining mental clarity and understanding. Super useful, essential, invaluable. But what I'm speaking about here is a place of knowing that exists within us. It exists in you, it exists in me, it exists in everybody, because we are spirit. That's not some new age idea. It's not even something that, yeah, no, I believe that. It's so far beyond. It's so far beyond. And it's a living presence that becomes a conscious, engaged, interactive part of how we do life. It becomes an inner relationship with your true self, the true self of all existence. And it's living and it's knowable, it's alive, it's conscious, it's dynamic, its essence is joy, its essence is peace. And we can live that. We can actually live that. And we can heal from the past. We can release held, traumatic, contracted energy and emotional energy from our heart field. We can actually free up all the energy that was being held around past events that are no longer serving us. And we can bring light into that space in the heart and actually live our purpose, our life purpose, fully awake, fully alive, fully engaged, in joy, to where you wake up in the morning and you actually are thrilled to be awake and you are in awe of the transformation that's taken place in your life.